Hey, what's up, guys? So, The Athletic recently released an article that talks about more details regarding EA Sports College Football. A lot of it's just some of the same information we've already known, but there are a few things I wanted to highlight from that article. So, let's get into it. So, the first thing that caught my eye is this little section where, again, it talks about the release date, July 2023. It's only going to be on next gen. We already know all of that. But then it says that this will be the most detailed college football game ever. So obviously that's very vague and we don't know exactly what that means, but I definitely think it's a good thing. We want this game to be detailed. We want EA to take their time and get a bunch of assets for all the teams and all the programs. We want it to feel different when you play at different environments. You want it to feel different when you play with different teams. We want to feel the uniqueness of college football when playing this game. College football is literally one of the coolest and greatest sports there is, and we want it to feel that when we're playing this video game. So I definitely think that's a good statement here from The Athletic. And comparing it to the previous college football games such as NCAA 14, 13, even older ones such as like 06, 04, those games were very detailed, and we all enjoyed and loved those games. So coming out with a statement that this will be the most detailed college football game ever, I think that's a pretty bold statement, and hopefully it's true. And if it is true, I think this game will be pretty good. And to provide an example of what this could mean, it's mentioned in the article that the detail will get down to playing certain songs at certain times, like on third downs or entering the fourth quarter. And like, this is what I'm talking about. That is such a small thing, but at the same time, it's such a big thing because it can make the experience of the game so much better. Certain stadiums, certain teams play certain songs at certain times during their games, right? Not every stadium is the same. And so like on third down or entering the fourth quarter, they play the team specific song of whatever stadium you're in. Like, that is such a good detail that needs to be in this game. Just things like that. Like, I think that goes such a long way. So the next thing that caught my attention in this article is that The Athletic claims that an immense amount of detail will be included, from new stadium angles to music to the transfer portal. So now that's huge. We've heard about the stadium angles, all the assets for the stadiums. We heard about the music, but we have not heard anything about the transfer portal yet. Like, obviously we assume it's going to be in the game, to what extent, but this is the first time anyone has said like it's actually going to be in the game. So I don't know if that was kind of just like a vague statement that's saying like these things are probably in the game, or if that was more of a confirmation. But that's the first time that anyone's really mentioned the transfer portal actually being in the game. So that's definitely a good sign here. I think the transfer portal, especially in Dynasty mode, will be one of the biggest things for me. It's such a big thing now in real life with players transferring and just going to different schools constantly. It's basically free agency in college football. So like, I really hope EA hits on that well. Like, I want the transfer portal to be robust and have a lot of different features that go into it. That way it makes the Dynasty experience really fun, really enjoyable, but also very realistic. Another really big feature The Athletic hits on in this article is the playoff. They said a source with the knowledge of the situation says that a 12-team playoff might actually be in the game. We know that a 12-team playoff's coming in real life, at least by 2026, maybe even by 2024. This game's coming out in 2023, so regardless, if the 12-team playoff is in the game, it'll be there before it's actually implemented in real life. So that's cool. I hope we have the option. I mentioned this multiple times and a long time ago, that we should have the option for different postseason styles. So whether that's the BCS and you just have the 2-team national championship, a 4-team playoff, 6, 8, 12, 24, maybe even something as crazy as doing like March Madness for football with 64 teams. That would be so dope if they include that. So I really hope we see that. I hope we see a 12-team playoff for sure, and I hope you can choose different postseasons for you to play in Dynasty or just play now or whatever. Another topic this article addresses is how long the game has been in development. It's just a small point they make, but this game has been in development long before the 2021 announcement, and that makes sense. I've seen people talking about, I hope they don't rush the game, right? They've been working on this for a while. It's not like right when they announced it is when they started working on it. They've been working on it well before they announced it. They wouldn't have announced it if they weren't, pretty confident in what they had already built. I think the biggest fear is that this game will be a Madden reskin, and this article also addresses that. It says, as for gameplay, the new game will not simply be a reskin of Madden, but then right after that it says Dynasty mode and Road to Glory mode are expected to return. Other possibilities like mascot gameplay have yet to be determined. I definitely hope we see the mascot mashup game mode again. However, I don't know if this is saying it will not be a reskin of Madden because there's Dynasty mode and Road to Glory. Like, okay, cool. Like, obviously we want Dynasty and Road to Glory, but if it still feels like Madden when we're playing the game, it's not going to be enjoyable. So I'm hoping that's kind of like a separate point that has nothing to do with the first statement about the game not being a Madden reskin. And I mean, yeah, that's like everyone's biggest concern and complaint, that we don't want this to be a Madden reskin. So hopefully that's what this means here, that it'll truly be like a different, separate game that feels completely new and unique to college football. Lastly, this article addresses like, what if a star player chooses to not be in the game? And we've already talked about this a little bit in previous videos, but I think they make a really good point here. I don't know how many of y'all have played MVP Baseball. It's an old MLB video game series that EA Sports used to release. MVP Baseball 2005 is one of my favorite video games of all time. But in that game, Barry Bonds was not in the game because he withdrew from the Players Association licensing agreement, so he wasn't in the game. And what EA did was literally, they, instead of making a dude like that looked like Barry Bonds, they literally made a white dude that was called John Dowd, but he just had like the same stats that Barry Bonds would have had. So they just took Barry Bonds and then basically made him white and changed his name. And I think that's what they would do in this situation with EA Sports College Football. Like, for example, if Bryce Young opted out of the game, obviously Alabama still needs Bryce Young on the team, but instead of making him Bryce Young, you can just, make him a white dude that's completely named like John Smith or something, and then that has similar statistics to what Bryce Young would have. And you can do this for any player on any team. So while obviously it would be kind of lame and disappointing if some of these star players aren't in the game, to still make the teams resemble real life and be realistic and have accurate ratings, you can just replace these players with generic dudes that have basically the same ratings of what they would have if they were in the game. So that basically hits on all the major points of this article. Definitely go read it for yourself. I'll link it down below. I'm excited for this game, guys. Like, it's getting closer and closer, and hopefully we can hear more details soon, but I truly am excited for this game. It's the most hype I've been for a video game in a long time. Video games have been kind of doo-doo as of late, so hopefully it's good. I'm gonna pre-order it as soon as that's made available. But I'll keep you all guys updated. Hopefully we'll have the next James Madison Dynasty episode out soon. But make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.